Hello, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Pitstop Fracas. I'm your host, Richard, and today we're here to review the Japanese Grand Prix. Here to help me review today's race is none other than Kwame. Kwame, how we doing, brother?
Well, I'm so disappointed in F1 and the FA in that race. So I'm not good at all. And Arsenal got a dub as well. I'm not happy. It's just been a bad week, man. My phone line is dry as well, man. I'm heartbroken.
But say no things stinging off your line, no?
Nah, nothing.
The,
Man.
the
Damn,
Beckies,
King.
the Beckies don't want anything to do with him no more, bro. It's crazy.
Yo, she
Yeah, man,
crazy,
you don't know
yo.
what to do.
Damn, Kwame Loslo is gals, sorry, plural. She crazy this week. Listen, girls, if you're single and you're like a 5'7" black man who's very well off, quite smart, intellectual. Listen, it's up the KBQ14. Listen, this DMs are open. That's all else I'm gonna say. You cheaters win, right? You get me. So that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, moving on to last but not least, that is Tariq. How you doing, brother?
What we're saying, guys. CEO of Gasly have had to come through real quick. It's been a big week for us. Couple ups, couple downs. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's just get straight into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. Let's get straight into it. First of all, we need to get straight into not really the race, but little unexpected beef that happened, a couple of days ago, and that is Chris Medland versus Fabrizio Romano. So Fabrizio Romano, for those of you who don't know, he is a football, what's it, journalist? Do you know?
Yeah,
Reporter,
journalist, man.
yeah, journalist,
Yeah.
yeah. Just
Some
yeah,
people might say tapping artist, but I digress.
yeah. He's the footballing world of equivalent of
Watch
Haaland,
for
if you
NBA.
will. Yeah,
Holland.
yeah. He claps it in. Yeah, you know what I mean. Basically. So of course, he tweeted out randomly. Oh, I'm gonna tap into Formula One for a second. Guys, he's been announced to Alpine. So of course, sent a whole Twitter in a frenzy. There's F1 Twitter who's done over the years who's thinking, who's this guy tweeting about Gasly? There's football Twitter who don't watch F1, who's like, that's a bit chatting about F1, blah blah blah. There's people who like us who like both sports, and it's like, where's this came from? So of course, this kind of around about the same time that Chris Madden could really easily tweeted that he was going to be at Japan, he's going to be at home with his kids, whatever, whatever. So of course, not too long after, he was officially announced by Chris Medland, and then of course by Alpine and Gasly, and there was actual quotes from Gasly as well, and it was actually a group photo. None of this, you know, mm, this next thing of just announcing someone else the permission. So, Tariq, I'm gonna come to you on this before we get into the beef side. Let's get into Gasly to Alpine. Tariq, in your opinion, is Gasly to Alpine a good move for him?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with the move. I've been saying for a while, look, I think the best thing for Gasly is to hit up a team that's outside of, the Red Bull jurisdiction, shall we say. Um, but also a fast car, which is the most important thing in my opinion. He needs a car that is gonna match his abilities. He needs a team that is going to uh, essentially not be a net negative to him. And I understand that Alpine have their problems, as a couple of people have very clearly made out to me. But I'm really, really, overall, I'm really happy with the move. I think it's a place where Gasly can turn over a new leaf. I feel like there's a whole weight off his shoulders with a move like this, where he can say to himself, "Look, um, I don't have helmet breathing down my neck. I don't have all these people talking about, oh, maybe I can go to Red Bull and this and that. I could just get my head down at Gasly, and I'm at Alpine, and it's kind of like more purer racing for him. I think in the sense where it's pretty much just going to be him battling his teammate Ocon, which is like a whole other story, which we'll get into later. But yeah, for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the move.
Con and Kwame, what do you think about his replacement, AlphaTauri, Nick de Vries? Do you think that's a good move for AlphaTauri?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think it's a good move. But for issue with AlphaTauri, there was no other driver they could have really gone for. I would have preferred Colton Herta to be fair with you, but we know the issue with the license points. So I'm not going to digress to that, or I'll be here all day. And sadly, there's no other drivers in the Red Bull Academy that are good enough just yet or ready for that seat. So I feel like they went for a stopgap option. Nick de Vries driver, he's got a lot of testing experience. You know, Mercedes test driver, done tests for Aston Martin and Williams as well. During this, this year in the practice. Also, was in the McLaren Academy as well, so he's got a bunch of experience. So winning F Formula E and F2, so it's a decent replacement, but I feel like that would be a big huge miss to AlphaTauri for sure.
Alright, cool. Let's just get these jokes up anyway. For all this drama shit. Listen, what do you think Chris Medland did soon as Fabrizio tweeted that? Stealing his whole swag. What do you think he did? You think he flew out to Milan? Go looking for Fabrizio?
Well, I mean, look, as I read through his tweet where he quoted Fabrizio and he was being very diplomatic about it. Good move. I mean, look, the way he worded it, you can tell he's fuming. You get me? It's like, great move by Alpine to get Fabrizio involved. Deep down he's trying to say, why the fuck have you got this football guy doing my job? Am I not good enough at his job? You know what I mean? But listen, Chris, get your announcements up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, if a football man can do your job and they're approaching that man instead of you, boy, you need to start looking at yourself in the mirror. You get me? That's all I'm going to say.
And listen, Lil Yari said he brought the watch to Poland. Do you think Chris? do you think Chris brought the match to Milan? Come on, mate.
Oh my days, bro. Nah, listen. The way you inserted that in, I'm pretty sure somebody challenged you to that. I don't even know where that segue came in from, but I respect it still. That might have to be the intro still.
I can't lie. He's the type of person, to me, that was more likely I thought he would cry in the car than bring out the match to Milan. If you're going to run the jokes and agendas. Because, yeah, Miles upset. Miles playing his girl on the TO talking about why do you fans think, it's like this? Every journal in F1 knew before Fabrizio, whatever. I saw Angie Benson was a bit annoyed as well. Listen, we know what probably happened, but we're gonna want jokes and genders.
And some banner. Think about it.
And listen, the retweets that Fabrizio got, I know he's putting you man to shame. I know you lot are sitting there with tears in your eyes looking at the retweets he got, bro. He got, bro, I don't know, like 10,000 retweets in like a couple hours, bro. Tell me one journalist that's getting 10,000 retweets on a driver announcement, bro. Even the F1 Twitter, the actual F1 Twitter don't be getting 10,000 retweets on driver announcement more times. You know what I mean? So, boy, listen, Fabrizio's juice is different, bro. He might be a tapping merchant, but he knows how to tap them in. You get me? So,
just like a certain striker for Man City.
Yeah, just like
listen.
That Norwegian cyborg they got, but that's for another pod. You get me?
Nah, yeah, it's true. I'm still convinced Chris Medland brought the match to Milan. That's all I'm saying. Because if a man with 12 million followers is doing my job and I've only got 200k, I'll be fuming too. A man ain't even in the same sports, bro. Nah, that's a joke too. Nah,
that's crazy.
That's the equivalent of. Actually, don't. I won't even say.
Oh, you might get the pod shut off.
Look at the sponsors, man.
You might get the pod shut off, bro.
Nah, that'll be honest.
High bases, man.
Man brought the strap to Sicily on that. Okay, bro.
Hey, listen. Look what Lil Yachty did. You get me? Hey, you'll be
Boy, the
Fabrizio
Yakuza
on that little
bazooka,
boat.
man.
You get me? Hey, listen, breezy out here still. Breezy. Alright, cool. Let's talk about quali anyway. So, of course, we had Max on pole. I can't remember what else happened. Hang on. I literally can't
Lando.
remember what happened.
Lando Max.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we had Gazzy out on Q1. He said he had issue with the brakes. Yuki, Vettel, and Mick got through to Q2. Ricardo got knocked out to Q2. So I got through to Q3, actually. I forgot about that. And of course, there was controversy over Max and Peter Norris on his outlap, I think it was. I don't think he was on the final lap. So, okay, so Kwame, do you have any takes or whatever about quali in general, especially with the Max incidents and whatnot?
For the Max incident, see, Max got weapon wanted, if you guys don't know. So essentially, you basically got a slap in the wrist. They basically, just told him, he got in trouble by the teacher, but he didn't get detention or, didn't get kept behind at dinner time, whatever. That's basically what happened to Max. I felt like something as dangerous as that more should happen to him, because the fact, he was driving slow on the racing line, and the driver having a fast lap, it could have been a massive crash or massive incident. So I feel like something more severe. Yes, cool, Max, probably didn't, mean to, block or hinder, Lando, but at the end of the day, it could be serious, and he even apologized as well to Lando. So I feel like, yes, cool, you can say it was intention. He didn't mean that, but it was very, very dangerous, and it could have been, especially 138 as well. Just been one of the high speed corner of the track. But except for that, he had the fast lap in it, and except for that in quali, like I said, he had some mix up there. Seb had a good quali to get into Q3. Yeah, it was a good mix of the rest of the field, So quali was decent, to be fair. I don't think, except for that last incident with Max and Lando, not much really happened, to be fair, but good mix, isn't it?
Yeah, cool. Sweet, do you have any takes of quali? If you did see it, I don't know. What's your opinion on Max not getting a penalty?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna follow up on Kwame's talk, where basically it's just that driver safety was and still is a big topic of conversation with this race, and it's probably something that we're going to get into later on. But yeah, there were a lot of elements, I should say, where driver safety was either flat out neglected or just not addressed in a suitable manner. With Max's incident being one of them, in my honest opinion. But yeah, I think Kwame has said everything there is to need to be said about that. I want to talk about Gasly, but I don't want to talk about Gasly at the same time. So I think we just won't. I think
Is it? Yeah.
we'll just gloss over that. Anybody want to try to say anything about that? Refer to 2023 when we're in the Alpine. That's all. That's it. That's what I'm gonna say. But yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think quali. Other than that, I think it was pretty nondescript, I should say. I think the standings themselves, which is what Max, Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, that was pretty regular. Ocon did really well, to be honest. So props to him. But yeah, it was a decent quali, I should say.
Yeah, that's calm. Okay, let's move on to at least the first race start. So, of course, the race start. Everyone started on inters, and then there was a first-half crash with Carlos Sainz, and then Seb, he bumped into Alonso and whatnot as well. So, of course, also we had Max and Charles battling for the lead, with Max actually going around on the outside taking the lead. So, I'm going to come to you on this, Kwame. What did you think of the race start? Of course, we'll get onto the main incidents about the tracks and that one, but just purely about the race start and the accidents.
I feel like the race start was chaos, isn't it? I feel like because of the tire compounds they started on, like I feel like they should have started in full wets, in my opinion. Instead of intermediates, which they walked about there on the second start. Because obviously from full wets, you'll remove more of the water of the track in it, so you'll be less likely to aquaplane, which we saw a lot in the first start where a lot of cars were just aquaplaning, just spinning. We saw that with Science, we've seen that with Zhao, we've seen that with your boy Vettel. You see, he said he hit Alonso. He didn't hit Alonso, man. He tried to overtake him, got a bit of a curb, and then, went spinning. So I feel like it was just chaos in the first lap. Like, drivers couldn't see. I felt like, yeah, cool, because, before the race started, we knew when it was going to come. So back in my head, I thought FIA better have learnt from, last time like in Belgium, for example. They better have learnt the lessons. Didn't seem like it at all. So yeah, there was just a lot of, first up incidents. Drivers couldn't see, drivers were spinning. Again, I feel like the tire choices of intermediate were not the right choice in that conditions, in my opinion, because intermediates are at that point of the circuit, they're not best. They're not best for full wet raining solutions. Intermediates are mainly there for when it's drizzling or when it's showering. So, and then again, drivers couldn't see and drivers just spinning out of control. It was just, yeah, it was a very bad start.
Yeah,
couldn't be way worse for some man.
Yeah, I mean, look, the spray, like the level of like water displacement and the spray coming off the cars at that first start was like ridiculous. Like you could see it as soon as they came out that first turn. Like you could see like this race wasn't gonna last that long. Purely just because of the water. You're seeing all the water that we're seeing, and it was definitely going to be chaos. But even then, like you can see with the amount of water that those intermediate tires displaced, if it was full wets, it could have been even crazier. You feel me? So it's I think it's just a bit of a sticky situation. But I think bottom line is, boy, Pirelli, innit? Pirelli, man. Those wet tires are flipping you. I don't understand why those wet tires even exist, bro. If we're not going to use them. If it's at the point where it's just like completely done out and it's not going to do the job that it's supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about Pirelli a ton on the pod and off the pod. I don't trust those lots. So
Yeah, no, I think it is ridiculous for the way we never get to use the wets, to be honest with you, because like it's the case of the teams are more inclined to use the inters because obviously it's the faster tire, but there's also times when it's too wet to the point where the FIA will just red flag the race or just delay the start, sort of thing. So it becomes that middle ground, but it's like, okay, what's the point of the wet tire then? Just if we're never gonna barely use it. It's only got to that point where it was mandatory on the rolling restart that the wet tires were used. But then after a lap or two,
It will change.
people already switched to inters, and it was actually ready for inters. We had like a fair big brain move from Aston Martin, and I think it was TP Blizzard as well.
Williams
So
as well.
switch to the
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're like a fair big brain move where it's like, no, it's too soon for the inters. It was the right time, to be fair. But yeah, let's move on to the main incidents of that, well, that red flag incident, if you will. And that was, of course, the tractor situation. So, of course, we've seen people come out and tweet about the incidents, especially the drivers. We had Lando do a tweet about it. We had Sergio Perez do a tweet about it, and of course, we've had Gasly speak on it as well, not long afterwards. So, of course, Carlos Sainz crashes out the aquaplanes. So, luckily, he doesn't get clipped by, I think, Lewis. That was the first car that went past him. Because
Science,
he was still,
Lewis,
because he was still basically on the circuit, so he was pretty much like millimeters, if you will, away from hitting them. So, of course, the traffic comes out, but the red flag comes out on the safety car. So, the big confusion was why was the safety car literally on the track with marshals on the track? Why are there still cars going on like 100 miles an hour or whatever, even if it's behind the safety car? Because there's even footage of Sands on board. We see a marshal on the track, and there's cars zipping past them.
yeah,
And that's like, have we not learned from what happened 8 years ago at this exact same
there's
circuit?
there's
Like we've
stewards
seen
that
drivers, we've seen drivers come out and say those exact things.
yeah.
Like I didn't really pay attention to like the Sky commentary, so I didn't know what Karoon and PDR were saying if they were trying to like deflect away. But I think Tech Crowd was trying to like put a bit of
No,
pressure on.
no, Karoon
What?
was worse. Karoon was worse. Karoon was literally like you'd think he was you'd think like some guy from the FIA literally came up to him and put like 100 in his pocket to talk, because the way he deflected about it was absolutely flipping ridiculous. And I was for those that follow the Pitstop Fracas account, follow that if you don't. I've spoken about it in quite length, a couple of tweets about it. I think honestly it's flipping ridiculous that a situation like that even happened in the beginning. There's no way in hell that a tractor should be in, not even like on the track, on the racing line, right? In one of the high speed corners when it's full wet and cars are still going. It doesn't matter what speed they're going at. Because Formula One, to be honest, Formula One cars are going to have to go at a certain speed anyway, given the way the cars run and how they function. They're going to have to go at a certain quick speed anyway, regardless of whether they're behind a safety car, regardless of whether it's in the wets, whatever. And that speed is still dangerous. There is no way in hell that you have marshals on the track and then you put on a red flag and pretend that that's like something that's okay and that's functional, especially on a track where we've had the hugely unfortunate accident with Jules Bianchi, I think. Bianchi. And yeah, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is you guys haven't learned your lessons. But I would be somewhat accepting of that. It sounds really, really bad, but I would be somewhat accepting of that if it wasn't the fact that people, both the governing body and those on TV, like presenters and all of that, are literally deflected and avoided addressing what the actual problem of that whole situation is, which is the tractor marshals working on the track whilst there were cars still going, and deflecting it towards Gasly being the problem because he's speeding because of a technicality. Honestly, if we're going to be completely and utterly honest on a technicality, and they're blaming it on him, and well, essentially blaming it on him and deflecting on it in so many words, and you've penalized him immediately, almost immediately after the race, and then somehow we're supposed to expect that there's going to be some kind of investigation that goes on later, which you're going to release when people don't really care no more. Same thing with the cost cap, regulation thing as well. It's a complete and utter joke from the FIA, from the governing body. They've honestly, like, it feels like we're dealing with like a governing body that has regressed, honestly. And we had so much energy for Massey. Yeah, we had so much energy for Michael Massey and people like him, where we were like, we thought maybe it was just him or him and maybe a few other people that were, that made those huge decisions to influence something in that manner, in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, of course, anybody's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. But to then come to a situation like this and then see a lot of similar issues, if not the same issues, if not even worse issues going on, it's really, really disappointing. And that's not even the end of the story, because we're going to get onto the Mac stuff later as well. So yeah.
No, I'm just gonna read out Gazzy's tweets, because obviously there was some confusion as to why the penalty was given, but Gazzy managed to clarify why it was actually given. So, and he says, for clarity, as discussed with the stewards, the penalty was given for going too fast between turn 14 and turn 15, which isn't where the tractor was. I slowed down, but not enough, and I take the blame for it. As for turn 12, I was suspecting the delta time under safety car, expected speed during safety car, approaching turn 12. The red flag was then displayed too late for me to react, and brake safety with the tractor and marshal right on the racing line. So, of course, we thought it was for the tractor infringement, but it wasn't, to be fair.
No,
But however, but the 20
no,
seconds and the two penalty points seems a bit much, to be
exactly.
fair.
Oh, it's very harsh. It's very harsh.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
And it's
do you
not
know what I
like, and it's not like it's not like he was penalized for the tractor situation, which I think a lot of people understand. I think people understand that it was because he was essentially speeding under the red flag. We understand that, but I think the manner in which it was addressed, as opposed to the issue with the marshals on the track, with the tractor on the track, which is a way bigger problem than Gasly speeding, going literally speeding on what, one turn or 1.5 turns under a red flag, as opposed to having a literal impediment on the track, which could have caused a huge incident. And the manner in which they reacted to it was just like ridiculous to me, absolutely ridiculous. And it doesn't, it's not lost on me that they addressed it in this kind of manner to avoid addressing the actual problem, which was the way that they conducted the work on track during that whole situation, which was completely and utterly unacceptable. And I think a lot of people understand that and know that.
No, yeah, I totally agree with everything you said, to be honest with you. Kwame, do you have any takes on track incidents and whatnot? Because obviously we're all in agreement that it was dangerous, it shouldn't have happened. All the cars should have been in the pits, or at least near the pits, by the time the tractor should have came out there at least. So, do you have any like different opinions on anything, or anything that you just want to get on your chest regarding the incidents and stuff?
Where do I start? I just feel like this race is something like the poor communication between the stewards, between the FIA, between the broadcasters. It's just like a whole. Today was just a whole joke. I feel like it was just a whole big, especially from Sky, Channel 4, from the media point of view, a whole cover up, a whole cover job, because like your favorite conspiracy, because like Tariq said, I'll start with them, because like Tariq said, Karun and Paul Dwester were very backing off the FIA, which makes no sense because these two have been drivers in the past. They have, they should understand, something like a tractor being on the circuit is very dangerous. Like Tariq said, been there before, George Banky in the same circuit passed away, where he literally aquaplaned onto the track and hit the gravel track and hit a tractor. So the fact, they're kind of sucking up to the FIA, it's not a good use of, the platform, then, but I guess, yeah.
I just want to add as well, like to Kwame's thing, is that Karun got on Twitter and then said something which was almost in direct opposition to what he said on TV, in case you wanted to know how these guys actually act. But yeah, go ahead, Kwame.
Yeah, it's just like a mad cover, and like Karun as well, like, especially someone who in the past, has been very up for talking about safety of driving and whatnot. I know, cool. He's not no Jackie Stewart or whatever in it, but it does seem very hypocritical. It does seem like you're getting a little paycheck from the FIA, underneath the cash, underneath the cash point, underneath the till. But yeah, I feel like again that tractor should not have been there. I understand the tractor's there to cover the vehicle, that the science, but like Tariq said, that should have been done as soon after when all the drivers were were in the pits. Yes, cool. Gasly had the incident where he crashed into the barrier and he took the advertising board with him, so he had to go to the pits and change his front wing, so he would have been behind. But again, they should have waited till Gasly was back in the pits. And again, the red flag, the double yellow flag, cool. People can say he was driving too fast. Yes, cool. But that's not the issue here. The issue we're talking about is, the tractor being on track. So, yeah, FIA sure needs to have a big, hard look at themselves for this.
I mean, that issue with the speeding is like, it's so like minimal in comparison to the
So
issue
minor.
with the tractor. Yeah, it's so minor, and then the way they penalize it and the speed in which they penalized it is like that's the biggest problem to me. But well, besides the fact that the whole incident actually happened, like I think the second biggest issue with that whole situation was that what happened there with the reaction and what the FIA did. I think it's just unacceptable, to be honest.
Yeah, but
Because for sure, it seems like the quiet the person hearing it, but not like the system or the people who are in charge, who really need to be looked at. Like they're just passing the blame game to Pierre in it. So
yeah, look, I mean, what haven't we said about the FIA this season? Like, we've cooked them consistently for like the last 2 years for their incompetence, to be honest with you. So I don't know what else like we could say about them that we haven't already said about them, to be honest with you.
I guess for once, they at least red flagged it. That's the only thing. That's the only positive I can say. It's like, cool. It's all the conditions of science. Not be able to see Henson spinning onto the wall, and yeah, the other drivers like Zhao spinning and going up. So they did the right thing in it. It's literally baby steps, man.
We're giving the FIA props for putting up red flags on super wet races. It's like getting up and clapping whenever Darwin Núñez has a good first touch.
Hey, so stay calm, brother. Stay calm, brother.
Like crazy, but like, bro, do your. I was supposed to applaud you for doing your job. Like, come on, please.
Yeah, it's been mad still. Yeah, I can't give the FAA props for that still. The bar's in hell. I can't lie to you. But yeah, hopefully the pattern up eventually this season, because boy, today could have been nasty. I can't lie to you. There could have been bad accidents.
It will be so mad, and it will still be like so funny if we're still getting controversial situations even after this race when Max has won.
Probably will.
Because what's even the point?
They probably will, because like this has happened 8 years ago. Someone died from it. They made rules at the time, I remember, to prevent a track to ever be on track again. I remember they were very very clear on tractors being behind the barrier, not on the track. I remember similar thing.
Yeah,
Grosjean, even when he had the situation in Bahrain, they panicked that. But I don't know. I feel like the sport's kind of regressing in how they're dealing with safety in rain, because I tweeted this out. Back in the noughties, they used to have a lot of wet weather tracks in Japan, Malaysia. Never an issue from what I can recall. But now, all of a sudden, these past year or two, you can't even have a wet race no more.
Yeah, let me read out that statement that the FIA actually did 8 years ago regarding Bianchi's accident. So literally, there's a section here that says it is considered fundamentally wrong to try and make an impact between a racing car and a large heavy vehicle survivable. It is imperative to prevent a car ever hitting the crane and/or marshals working near it. That's what they said themselves 8 years ago. Literally, their words. Not a journalist, not a driver, none. Literally, their years 8 years ago.
And this situation here was even worse than Bianchi's one. At least, like, this is gonna sound terrible, but at least with Bianchi, the tractor was actually off the track. You know what I mean? It was where the gravel was.
Yeah, it was on the gravel. Yeah, it was on the gravel.
Yeah.
This one was the tractor here. Sorry, was literally on the racing. I don't think, like, I can't emphasize enough. This tractor was literally on the racing line. So any driver who's driving regularly, like like relative to the conditions, it could have been an absolute disaster. You know what I mean? Like, we're so lucky that we're at this point right now where nothing happened and everybody walked away okay, because that situation, like the scenarios that go through my head about what could have happened there, it's just like it's ridiculous. It's not worth thinking about.
Yeah, no, 100%. It was so easy that something could have went wrong. That it's unfathomable to think that how did no one get hit, whether it be Marshall, Gasly, drivers behind or whatnot, because the visibility, as you can see, was poor from the onboards. It was very poor. Even watching it back, I'm just trying to see where the fuck the tractor was, and I'm struggling. So, like, never mind what the driver's going through with the helmet on and the visor. So it's just, Yeah, it's just
But
it's
one
just
thing is, though,
yeah.
before we move on, I'm just happy the drivers called out their FIA unit because we've had in the past where the drivers have been hush. So I'm actually glad this time the drivers have said, "Yo, you guys to fix up and you can't retract it again because too much dumb."
But even then, like, yeah, we got a couple of tweets, but like,
oh no, I hear you.
you know
What
what I
happened in the
mean?
future?
Like,
Exactly, what happened in the future? Because
exactly.
these guys don't seem to look like they've learned from the lessons whatsoever.
Exactly. If we're talking about a governing body that has literally seen a driver die because of their own incompetence and had an investigation to it and made statements saying that, okay, we need to make sure that this never happens again, and then a situation similar to it happens again at the same track. How many tweets and how many interviews and whatever, how many of those fix that? You know what I mean? I'm just talking like it's like it's such a depressing situation, like in my opinion, like that whole thing,
Yeah, no, I fully understand. Hopefully there's nothing bad happens in the future, but I feel like with organizations like the FIA and situations like this, something bad needs to happen in order to invoke change, which is really, really sad. But hopefully it doesn't get to that point. But yeah, look, you spoke about them for long. We'll probably be doing the same thing for one of the last 4 or 5 races or whatever. So yeah, hopefully they fix up. But yeah, cool. Let's move on. So of course the race started with about 45 minutes to go on the safety car. Just rolling start and whatnot. And then of course Seb and it was
Latifi.
Yeah, Seb and Latifi decided to pit what we thought was maybe quite early, to be honest with you, onto the inters. I was kind of feeling the ways because I thought, oh, I'll be pitting too soon. There's still quite a lot of space on track and whatnot. But no, it ended up being a big brain move, to be honest with you. And then the rest of the cars followed suit, to be honest. So actually, what I want to get onto is actually Mick Schumacher, to be honest with you. And that is him not pitting till lap 11. Yeah, so Seb pitted on lap 5 in Latifi. Majority of the field then pitted 2 laps later on lap 7. And Latifi was the stone dead last pit to pit on. Mick, was the stone dead last pit to pit on lap 11. Because Haas wanted to do big brain move. They said, oh, we're kind of hoping for a safety car here. We're going to keep you out on wets, but you can see he was losing seconds a lot, getting cooked each and every time. So, Kwame, I'm going to come to you on this. Why do Haas keep fucking Mick Schumacher over? And do you think that them waiting for the safety car was the right move at the time? Or do you think they should have just pitted by lap 7 like everyone else?
Right.
But I thought they should have pitted by lap 7 like everyone else because at that point, as we said, Vettel and Latifi pitted for the intermediates and they were lapping faster. The track was on the drop by that point as well. Everyone else was on pit around lap 7, and again they were kind of faster. So you see Mick as well. That's the thing. They could have put him lap 8 or lap 9, but they waited till lap 11 where this guy was like P1 for like 10 seconds. It's cool. He's P1, and man dropped to like what P11 within a lap. This guy was getting dunked on by Vettel, Hamilton. Like, I don't know what Haas are trying to do. Like, I feel like I said, they were trying to bargain on, a safety car happening, someone crashing or someone being in, which, fair play. I hear what they're trying to do, but when you're going that slower, where you're literally getting dunked on lap by lap by lap, you have to kind of just, cut your losses and just, go for fresh the new tires. And even when they went for new tires, if, and this happened, they would have been, okay, cool. Everyone else was caught up in the end, but they had the fresher tire. So, yeah, the big brain move from Haas didn't work for Mick. And I don't know if Haas got agenda for Mick or what, because this is not the first time as well where Haas have been doing both those strategies with Mick. It's not the first time. They've been doing this whole season for this guy.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times before, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And,
do you remember which ones? I can't really remember exactly, but...
Off the top of my head, no, I do not. We've got Mick Schumacher corresponding in Pitstop Fracas. Ask him.
Chris will let us know. Chris will let us know.
Right.
He keeps a line.
But no, back
Let's
to Mick though.
let's
I feel like
yeah.
Gunther is going to genuine him though, because this guy keeps constantly ruining up his races though. Like the guy hasn't been this second half of the season since Canada. Guy hasn't been that bad. Like Quali hasn't been great, cool, but you can do better than K-Mac during this part of the season.
Gunther's German, ain't he?
He's Italian in it, but like where he's from,
Gunther's
he's Italian.
Italian.
Yeah, but where he's from,
Yeah,
though,
it's
it's
weird,
like
huh?
it's on the border between Austria and Italy, so he's closer to like
Boy.
Let's come off Mick because we don't care that much. It's not that deep. Let's move on to Ocon v Hamilton. So of course Ocon was in fourth place for quite some time. With of course Lewis trying to closing time, trying to get past him and whatnot, and he put up quite a stay in defense. To be fair, but that straight line speed that Alpine is nuts. I can't lie to you, because you see Lewis trying to close in, and he just didn't have the straight line speed because that Alpine's like a rocket ship in the straight line. So, Tariq, I'm gonna come to you on this. What did you think of Gasly's future teammate's performance then against Hamilton?
I think it was comfy for Ocon, honestly. I don't think there was much for him to do, but look, if you know, the most important thing for a driver to do is to have an incident-free race. Honestly, just make sure you get your head down as much as you can, or whatever the Formula One equivalent is of getting your head down, and just
get your visor down.
Get your visor down. He just needs to get his visor down and start driving. We're gonna have Roy Keane sat next to Crofty in a couple of weeks.
I don't want to do an Irish accent, yeah, but yeah, you know how it sounds.
No, you killed me with that one, bro. I'm just imagining scenarios like that.
What's the TV doing there?
Graham Souness sat next to Kareem John Dog on that. Like, I think it was good. I think Lewis was good in the race, but he keeps doing all this other stuff. I don't know why he just doesn't race.
What was Paul Pogba doing there? What's the name of this witch doctor? Oh shit! Bro.
Hey, we need to have that one day, man. Just football pundits doing a Formula One, man. But yeah, wait, what was the question? Okay.
Yeah, what was Ocon's performance in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, this is representative of how regular Ocon's performance was, bro. We're talking about flipping Roy Keane and Graham Souness and that. Yo, he was good, man. Like the conversations. I think, in my opinion, the conversation that's about like Ocon's drive are more about how shit the W13 is, honestly, because I don't know how many laps Hamilton was stuck behind Ocon, but I could tell you for a fact it was too many, because he could not get past him at all. Like I said, it was comfy for Ocon. Like it didn't really phase him or nothing. But in terms of the wider picture, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it was a comfy race for him, and those are the exactly kind of races that you want, especially in a situation like this where it was extremely wet. To be honest, as long as you don't crash, you've had a good race, in my opinion. So yeah, props to him. He needs those props because it's going to look sticky for him next year, but that's what I'm going to say in it. So,
hey, that's going to be a battle and a half.
Hey, listen, look, no, I have stick talk. It's stick talk from now to the end of the season. I'll tell you why. Because some man told me that Gasly wouldn't have a drive by the end of 2023. Like he wouldn't have a drive. He'd be stuck at AlphaTauri, just thinking up that joint. He'll be driving in DTM and them places thereafter. Like, listen, look, we are not Albon. You know what I mean? Like, we do not need Red Bull to get a drive for us. We got talent over here. We got speed over here. You get me? You know what I mean? So don't play with me, man. And when we smoke that Ocon pack next season, I'm gonna come with even more energy. You get me? So.
Hey, listen, that link up's looking like a Tion Wayne and Heady one sort of link up still. It's looking kind of mad. I can't lie to you, man. You get me?
As long as the tunes bang, that's it, bro.
There we
Burner
go.
Boy and
listen.
Burner Boy and Wizkid on the same track. You know that tune will bang, but they hate each
Like I said, man,
Well,
these man are
I
the
see,
same brother.
you know.
Yeah,
Same
you see the
people.
vision. You see the vision. Yeah.
You see the vision, you know. I see it still.
Hey.
I see it still. What you say? That's low vibration, yeah.
Oh, low vibrational plates right there, bro. Low vibrational team that Kwame is repping, bro.
Hey, well, don't worry. We'll get on to low vibration later on. Actually, save that. We'll get on to low vibration later on. Don't worry about that. But tell you what we will do is move on to Sebastian Vettel and Kwame. I'm gonna come to you on this. So, what did you think of Seb's performance today? Him getting just at the end. I don't know if you might have seen Alonso's on board. Yeah, sixth place. I think it was like a thousandth of a second ahead of Alonso, something like that. So, what do you think of Seb's performance today, then?
Vettel had a good race, man. He had a very good race. It was a perfect way for him to end, his time in Suzuka. The last Donny to, well, apart from that, before this race, last guy, outside Mercedes to win a race here, this is his track. He loves Suzuka, innit? So, the fact that, man came, remember, that's the Martin car. It's not fast at all. And the Alpine, as much as I get onto the Alpine car, it's actually a very underrated car, probably the best of the rest outside the top three. So the fact that, he was up there fighting with Alonso, pitching towards the end of that's, I know they didn't have it on the highlights on the race, but that little bit, if you can find it on YouTube or Twitter, find that little last lap between him and Alonso. That is Formula One heritage. That's elite racing there, man. And Vettel picked him. Heritage. Word to me, and he picked him down to, the final literal finish line. So Vettel had a good race. He kept it tidy, went up the field. He did his thing.
My boy's gonna be proud, I can't lie.
It's what you expect from a season vet.
Cry. No, I mean, I was just for cry. I can't lie to you still, because that's his track. I even said, look, I'm wearing my Suzuka Reserve now. If any man wants to drop out,
that's his favorite track. That's his favorite track. So he did that. That's the man proud, isn't it? That's how a season vet should drive. Composed,
bro, and
steady.
That's a proper racing track as well. Ain't no fugazi, squares, 90-degree angles. That ain't a low vibration track. You get me? High vibration. That's what it is. You get me? High frequency.
High vibration
you get me?
track, bro.
Come on. Talk about it. Anyways, let's speak on to some low vibration. I think the listener's gonna know who we're talking about now. Someone who likes to turn into a tree and not move, and that is Charles Leclerc. So Charles Leclerc, he ended up finishing the race P2, got the most to P3, but he likes to crack under the pressure, doesn't he? Felt that pressure from Checo, last lap, last corner. Mount started to cut the chicane and, started to do this little defense against him. So I'm going to come to you on this three. Our favorite off, Charles Leclerc. He's got bare standard names, what is it? People let's call Leclerc. fucking.
The insurance write-off.
Yeah.
Magic City Maldonado because he's all posed. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Charlie B. Hey,
Charlie
it's crazy out here, man. I can't lie to you. It's crazy out here.
Boy, Charles low vibrational Leclerc, bro. Yeah, what are we saying?
The vibration, that's what it's called now. The low vibration.
The vibration. Charles the vibration.
Hey, listen. Speak to me on Charles why he likes to have hood rats on his plate. Tariq, talk to me.
Okay. Yo, listen, man. He's not that guy, bro.
So
That's all I
combine
need
it.
to say. I could stop my answer right here and just move on. Like, he's not that guy, man. It's been the whole part. Like, listen, I mean, we could say so much about Ferrari themselves and the fact that they haven't helped Leclerc at all. In fact, like, we could probably go through the whole season and see more negative influence from his team than positive. But it's a situation where he hasn't helped himself, man. Like, there's two situations. I think it was this one today, and Imola, was it? I think when he was chasing Perez or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are two situations that are in my head right now where it's like, bro, if you just drove normally, like if you just drove with the talent that we know you had and you didn't, choke, basically. Those two like potentially small situations could have changed the whole like outlook of the championship right now. So it's just about them little mistakes. Like, you just can't be doing if you're getting to the point where you want to win the title and you want to challenge for the title. There's so mistakes you can't be doing no more. You need to make sure that you're putting in laps after laps after laps where there are no mistakes. And the fact of the matter is, Max did that this season. Like, as evidenced by the fact that he's won it at Japan and not, Brazil or, Abu Dhabi, like it was last season, things like that. Like, he's Max, for all the hubbub about what's going on and his team and all that kind of stuff. Like, he's putting great drives, and Leclerc, I think I don't know whether it's going to come from experience or whether it's going to be like just getting his visor down, like we said before, just getting his visor down and putting in the work. It's those mistakes that he needs to cut out, and then I think he can just go from there and just see what I can do. But I guess it's lessons learned in it. So you can tell that I'm happy from Gasly getting the Alpine drive, because I ain't going in on Leclerc like that. You get me? But yeah.
Yeah, no. Kwame, do you have any takes on Leclerc? I know you like to come on your political vibe and whatnot, and like still sensible, but But and who's his engineer as well? Is it Javi? Is that his engineer? No, is that Sam's engineer?
Well, I couldn't care for the four boys. I can't lie, man.
Listen, I just wanted Javi or whoever's engineer was just say something about
two teams at the same time. That's crazy.
Hey,
big
crazy,
work right there, man.
I mean,
that's
Javi.
That's the seventh level right there. The Ferrari finances, bro. The seventh level.
Well, yeah.
Man said I need to dip into some other money, bro. This boss.
Man said that's what examines from Pedro or Xavi, man. Yeah. What about to say, Richard? What about to say? What about to say?
No, I was gonna say whoever's engineer is. I just wanted them to scream on the radio and just be like, "Look, you're not a tree. You can move." And I want to let Leclerc be like, "That's right, that's right,
that's right."
Because honestly, why should my second catching up to you? Like, big man thing, like, fam. And then you're scrambling. That's right. That's right. Behind every good job is a pack of engineers. That's right. That's right.
I know. No, the club.
You go see. It's the post race, yeah. It's the post race, and they got Max's car and Leclerc's car parked together. And he goes, "Oh, put our cars together. You see that one's called royalty." That one's
You see that car right there? That's called royalty. When you look at this car, that car, that's royalty.
Yo.
Hey, no. Hey, no, but yeah. Speaking of Leclerc, man, and speaking of royalty, if he's got a dog in him, it's a corgi. Because
Hey, I respect that joke. I respect it. Shout out Kwame for that. Shout out Kwame for that joke right there.
Yo, I didn't shut up on Kwame, you know, fucking hell.
It took some time, innit? It took some time, innit?
I want to be nice to the guy in there, but this race, man, how can you bottle it like that, man? On the last corner, but let Perez do his run, man. Like I call Perez if you don't know, the Mexican physics killer, because he really is that second driver in that team, and I feel like he's only been good in mediocre cars, in my opinion, when it comes to Perez. And you let this guy pressure you, man. Listen, I feel like that first corner, like so Hamilton last year in the Silverstone, he just sent it in the first corner. If Leclerc really had that in him, I know he probably lost the championship. He probably lost it, but for your dignity, man, at least try to do something. He didn't do that. Max was gone. Max put 25 seconds on his head top. And
yeah,
then
it was shameful. Hey, it was shameful the time that the amount of time that Max put on his head top. Like that's crazy. There's no way you can. I'd go into hiding after that. Like, come on.
Max said witness protection, you know.
Yeah.
How can how can Max's engineers be saying, we should go pit now? Because they knew if they go pit, they'll still win. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah,
you're not a tree, you can move. That's right.
That's right.
Come on, man. Yeah, I haven't seen a bottle like that before in the last corner, last lap. Look, we know Max
Turkey 2020.
Was that
Turkey 2020? That's the last time he did it. Remember, he went from second to fourth on the last lap.
Second to fourth, yeah. That's when Hamilton and Vettel overtook him, and
that's crazy.
Like actually, no, which is right. Because this ain't the first time he's done this as well. Obviously, done with Imola as well. I don't know what's with him and pressure, because Quali, when it comes to 1 lap pace, the guy is very, very fast. So I don't know if it's experience, I don't know if it's pressure or what, you know. But I'm speechless, man. I'm actually speechless because that led to the shenanigans that happened afterwards with the FIA, with the whole 5 second. Was it 5 second penalty you got?
Yeah.
I think he got 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 second penalty you got. But the corner, like that was a big corner cut because obviously he tried to keep position. But actually, that's the thing about to say as well. It's mad because them like couple of laps he was defending his Perez, man kept going off the line so many times. Like Perez had so many other opportunities to overtake him, like so many times this guy was shaking like a bad man. Like man was moving in out of the race line. It was insane. Like
wait. Shaking like a who? Shaking like a who?
Shaking like a who?
He was shaking like a baby. Because no, if you see like the watch it again, so many times you're just going right into the corners because I understand it's wet weather, so you're gonna be drifting off. Your brake is gonna be different, but it was so right to the point that I was surprised Perez didn't try and just dive bomb it. But obviously Perez sees experience, he knew, cool, get the points. If I crash, then Max, cool. And now Perez is ahead of him in the championship as well. This guy's coming. It looks like it's gonna be Tottenham coming third in the two-horse race.
That's crazy.
Hey, that's crazy, dog. Can't lie to you, scary as of still. But hey, listen, the Leclerc bottling it, the pressure, that's heritage. That's Formula One heritage, you get me? That's a real heritage. But cool. Now let's move on to, the end of the race. And that was the checker flag. So apparently, Max crossed the line with 5 seconds still left on the clock. Which should have meant we could have got another lap. So, Kwame, is this it? Because I just heard about something, so I didn't really see the footage or whatnot. Is it actually true that if you're aware that checkered flag actually came out too early? And if so, do you think that's just more FIA incompetence, really? Or do you think this was a way of, I don't know, maybe just trying to make sure Max, not make sure Max won, because he was always going to win the race.
Mm.
But just to try and speed up the process per se, and not just, I don't know. But I don't know.
I don't know either, because about to say, I heard the same rumors as you. I heard the same rumors as you as well. I've seen the same rumors as you they're talking about, but I haven't seen like an official source like validate it. So I don't know how true it is. You know, Twitter, 95% on the app is genders, isn't it? And just people just chatting. So I don't know what to believe or take in it. But if it is the case, it's not a good look at all. I'm gonna try and believe that it's not the case. And I'm gonna try and side with them that, you know, cool, they ended when it ended. But even in the commentary, they were even saying, "Is this the end? When's it gonna end?" Like, it seemed like the commentators and the teams there were even arguing about when is the race gonna end, how many laps have we got left. So it wouldn't surprise me if, and also the incompetency of the Ferrari today, it wouldn't surprise me that like 5 seconds extra left. But I'm gonna try and pretend that didn't happen. I try and pretend that, you know, they ended at the right time. But yeah, I'm not sure either. I don't know. My sources haven't contacted me.
Yeah, Kwame sources follow him still. You know his DMs are dry. He told you started the pod. So, hey, get out of your living.
Boy.
Listen. Steve on.
Kwame sources, yeah?
Not me, man. Not me, man.
Not you, yeah.
My sources are...
Sources are the White House, bro.
I respectfully do not call my women that word. I call them women. So, yeah. Yes, man.
Oh, man, said it's a rock.
I mean that in a entirely respectful manner.
I was
okay.
Saying,
for the purposes of the pod. Sorry?
Can you say something?
Oh, no. I said let's respectfully move on to the next topic.
Oh, yeah. Forget all this. Let's keep stopping. All right, cool. So let's move on to Max Verstappen. So, of course, he got Milan in first place. But there's a lot of confusion. Well, because, you know, Charles got a penalty, you know, the 5 seconds or whatnot. And then that meant, of course, he finished the P3. But there's a lot of confusion whether Max is actually champion or not. So even journalists are saying, no, Max needs another point to be declared champion. It's been rolled up to Kota. And even the F1 official Instagram channel even said, he's the winner of the race, but he's not champion just yet. We'll have to see what happens to Kota per verbatim, to be honest. So, I just want to talk about Max's season overall, and I'm coming to you on this too. I know you're not the biggest Max fan, but what have you made of his season overall as a driver? And, you know, do you think he had the perfect season per se, or do you think maybe he's had a few maybe bozo moments or whatnot? To be fair,
he's had he's had a couple like small bozo moments. I guess it's also from as well like the reliability of his car as well. That's come into question, but for the most part, he's done his job, innit? Like he's driven well. He's won the races he's needed to win. Ferrari themselves had a quick car as well, and in another situation, you know, if that team wasn't such a mess and Leclerc wasn't such a bottle job, then maybe, you know, it would have looked different, because that car, I think the Ferrari car does definitely have the ability to win the championship, but you know, they didn't, so I digress. Max has done his job. He's done his job. He's driven, for the most part, he's driven like how a champion's supposed to be. So it's not really much that I can say about Max as like being particularly undeserving or anything like that. I think most of the talk is about his team, basically, and the lengths that they've gone to build their car, to the lengths they've gone to run their team and stuff like that, and that's come into question recently, for both this year and last year, and they're saying that there's possibly implications for next year as well. So I think that's the main issue, I guess, here, if anything, in regards to this Max Championship. But in regards to him and what he's done, I think even like the biggest Max critics, who we all know, who we all know very personally,
Yeah.
I don't think they can really. I don't think there's really much to say about how he drove. I think he just did his job, and I can only respect it, to be honest.
No, yeah, definitely. Kwame, I'm coming to you on this. In terms of this, I'm asking you two questions actually. In terms of this season, do you think this is one of the most dominant Formula One seasons in terms of a driver that you've ever seen? And also, do you think if Leclerc was a bit less of a bozo, if his team were a bit more competent, do you think maybe that this will not per se be more of a fight, because obviously it will be, but do you think it would be a lot closer in terms of how things are pan out? Do you think maybe it would go all the way to Abu Dhabi, or do you think Max is always gonna win it maybe before Abu Dhabi per se, in your opinion?
So to answer your first question, it definitely has been one of the most dominant F1 seasons I've watched. Up there with 2011 and 2013 with Vettel.
It's funny though, because
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. It's funny though, because mathematically it will look that way, but I don't think it feels like a particularly dominant season, to be honest. I don't know if anybody else agrees. Like watching the races and stuff.
I hear you. I definitely hear you because of the Ferrari. Because the Ferrari were, especially at the beginning of the season, the Ferrari were very, very. Actually, they started off faster than Red Bull. You forget that. Like the first,
I think
three races. Yeah.
I think literally still till now, to this day, I still think the Ferrari is only even a little bit, just maybe slightly slower than Red Bull. Even that, I still think that they can compete with Red Bull for wins. So I think from the entire season up until now, they have had the ability to win races and make the championship look a whole lot different to what it does now. But they dug their own grave. But yeah, go ahead, Kwame.
I feel like I kind of agree with that last bit about with Ferrari being close to them now. I feel like because since what I've got here, since France, Red Bull have gone back to back. France, Hungary, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Singapore, Japan, they've gone back to back. So that second half of the season, they've dominated. But the first half, I definitely agree with you. I feel like Ferrari were even faster than Red Bull if that's part of the season, but that issue of reliability strategy that Red Bull kind of capitalized off. But I feel like it's been close. But I feel like, back to my point, I feel like the Vettel era 2011, 2013 was more dominant. You had Vettel on his 9-win peak. Even the Schumacher, I started fortunate from 05, but the Schumacher era was 04. From what I understand, that guy was just different crazy. So, what's the question again as well? The question was it, which you asked?
Yeah, it was just a case of, do you think if Ferrari had a bit more of a perfect season, that they'd have the capabilities of taking it to Abu Dhabi? Or do you think maybe Max would have maybe won the championship a tad earlier, regardless?
I felt like first bit of both. I felt like the upgrades that the Red Bull had in the second half of the season, I feel like kind of trumped Ferrari's upgrades. I know Ferrari had upgrade, they started struggling with the engine. But Azerbaijan, Canada period, that's when they had their upgrade and they kind of struggled from there. But I felt like if they were capable of reliability, sorting out the reliability, sorting out the strategies, they definitely would have been up there 100% with Red Bull. Definitely would have been, very close battle to the end. And and also of course, Hamilton as well. Hamilton's times, 2020 and 2018 were very dominant times as well. But 2014 as well, another season. But I feel like this season felt so much more just dominating. I don't know why compared to Hamilton Mercedes times, but yeah. It's a new era in F1, which is looking very bleak for anyone who's not a Max fan. It's looking long.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it's looking long still. I can't lie. But yeah, let's move on to the end of the race and the whole points confusion. So, of course, the FIA they brought in new rules because in terms of how the point system will work, because of the whole debacle of the Spa 21. Of course, we know what happened there, sort of thing. So basically, just to very quickly run through, it's the case of if you between 2 laps, 25% race distance, the top 5 get points, 25 to 50%, top 9 get points, 50% 5, top 10 get points, but not the full 25, 18, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, 75 onwards get the full-fledged points. So it was but it was under the assumption that, this race was going to be about a 50% sort of like points race, something like that. Something on them lines anyway. So Janice, as I said, Janice before tweeting it out, people tweeting out. That's what people expected because they thought, okay, the championship's going to roll up to Dakota. So of course, a graph came up. I think I don't know, it's been like 5 laps to go, something like that, saying about how the point system will be, how the points will be dished out, basically between people in the top 10. And me personally, I can't speak for everyone else. Me personally, I just thought, oh, it's incorrect graphics. It happens, blah blah blah. Not knowing that they were the correct graphics this whole time, really and truly. So of course, I suppose this caused a lot of confusion on social media. People like, how does this make sense? We didn't get a full race, but to my understanding is that if a race starts and then is red flagged and then doesn't resume, then it goes to percentage, distance, equal points sort of situation. However, if it then resumes and then comes to a finish per se, where there's a checkered flag involved, that's when you get 4 points. Now, I had no idea about this rule. No one on Twitter did because everyone was saying the same thing about 4 man in the FIA or whatever who knew what the rule was. Even Max was confused, really and truly. Even F1 themselves, as I said, the social media accounts, even they said, oh, it's going to roll on Dakota. The only people who knew was a couple of people in the FIA. That was it. So I'm going to come to you on this, Tariq. Do you think the point system needs restructured? And was you actually aware of this rule about how 4 points gets awarded?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, if most of the teams won, then I definitely won. You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure they had that in the back of their they just had that in the back of their head somewhere. They just pulled it out like a trap card at Yu-Gi-Oh or something, bro. Like Mike's gonna get this championship regardless. I don't care what nobody say. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, technically you're right, but it's because you wrote the book and you wrote it in a specific way where that was correct. And now the discussion is why the rules were written that way and why we're following such an unintuitive system, basically. Because a race finishing like that, where essentially I think everybody was saying that it was around like the 50% mark, around that ballpark of laps completed and stuff like that. To then give full points for that, knowing that you've run only about like half the race, on a rule which states, oh well, we threw a red flag that and then we ran it again, is, I mean, I don't know to anybody else, but that sounds like pretty stupid to me. And yeah, yeah, exactly. So and it opens up for a whole load of other weird situations as well, not just this one, where you could be giving a lot of points for a race that didn't finish. That didn't finish an adequate number of laps, basically. So I find it hard, like weird to talk about, because I know the situation is that you've handed the driver a championship because of this. So you coming after this, coming after and being like, oh, okay, we're going to review the regulations now, when we might make this little change. Or I think that's a bit too late, to be honest. You've given another driver a championship now, when this whole race could have gone a couple more races. I guess championship race could have gone a lot more races of a regulation that a lot of people aren't happy with. I ain't happy with. I know a lot of you guys probably won't be happy with it. I know there's a lot of Formula One personalities and stuff like that aren't happy with it. So it's like it's just like it's the FIA, man. You know what I mean? Like, what can I say, man? The FIA, man. I hate these lot, man.
Well, it's actually crazy, man. Because me free as well. Because you know what? Yeah, like this makes no sense, because we had the situation in Spa last year where the 2 laps after the safety car, their man got half points, and they redid the rules to avoid a situation like that happening again. Like, how can you redraft the rules and you get the redraft wrong? Bro, that's like you doing the reset. You got given the answers and you still get wrong. Like, it makes no sense, man. Like,
same thing happened. I mean, this is a very, very similar situation to the tractor incident, where they've had the issue before, so they've had the chance to correct it, and the issue still happened again later. So, boy,
I think it goes back to how we said before on this pod, how F1, when it comes to rules, is very poorly written, very poorly drafted, very poorly interpreted. Because how can the teams, how can the drivers, like how can Max, obviously the drivers should know the points of when they finish. They will know how many laps they've done. Exactly. How can Max be confused and saying, did I win? No, I didn't win. What, I won? Oh, I never knew that. That. Like, come on, man.
And it completely ruined his it completely ruined his win, basically. It completely ruined his
celebration.
Yeah, because he literally had to be told it to him by the interviewer.
Like, that was weird as well. That was like they were interviewing Leclerc as well. Then they found out it was all sense of weird, because again, I thought for Max as well. I can't feel for him, because we get to him for last year for Abu Dhabi, him driving very elbows out, whatever. But this year he had a very calm season. He did his things, got his W's. Leclerc's bottling, he did his thing, and now he's got another asterisk on his name for what reason?
Yeah,
it's a bad taste. It's a definitely bad taste, especially last year trying to learn from AD, and it's still it's nowhere near as bad as AD, but still a sour taste left. Like, I had the bad food last year, which made me sick. I had diarrhea, and I've had it again, and I still got diarrhea. Like, you trying to get new fans in? You trying to get new fans into your restaurant? Fam, it's higgy, man. It's really higgy. But yeah, I feel like the FIA needs to. It makes no sense how, like I said, if you do the race and then you stop halfway, you get half points. But then if you do the race, do a lap and then start again, you can get 4 points and finish like a quarter of the race. It's very poorly drafted and written.
Yeah, it's just intuition, bro. Like, it's intuition. Like, you look at the amount of laps that you've completed, and the amount that you come with is 25%, 50%, whatever, 75%, whatever. Then you award the points that way. Like, that's probably like the most straightforward way that you can do it.
Common sense, man.
Yeah, it's like the most straightforward.
Like, no need for you to do the stop thing again. If it's 50%, that 20% back. Why did they put in that? Oh, starts again, you get 100%.
Yeah, what's even the point of that? Yeah, exactly.
That kind of takes away from what you've done. Like, and also the communication from the FIA to the fans and to the broadcasters and to the teams have been poor. Because how can the broadcasters be saying, "Oh, this is wrong for the FIA"? Oh, the FIA screen is wrong. We are sure it's the 25%, 50%, 75%. It makes no sense. How are the teams and the drivers not knowing the rules? Like, It's simply simple communication. They just need to say, "This is how it will break down when this happens." That's it. So
Yeah.
again, another howler from the FIA, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just quite typical now, to be fair. It's basically the case as long as 2 laps get done and the checker flag comes out, you get 4 points, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, we'll come back to this eventually one day, just straight up cooking the FIA. But yeah, cool. Let's move on to driver of the day nominees. Tariq, who's your driver of the day?
Has to be Max, isn't it? Has to be Max. I mean, he didn't put foot wrong, and he won the championship of the race. So
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like that's a safe answer, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean, there's a few candidates. There's obviously him, Ocon, Seb, and Latifi, if you're feeling brave. Well, yeah, Max, I don't think that's a wrong answer, no. Cool. Kwame, who's your job today?
I moved like a shout today on the account. I voted for Latifi, but all jokes aside, I'm going for Vettel. I was annoyed in it when I voted for Latifi, so I just wanted to, but no, I'll say Vettel for sure. I feel like he had a good quality. He got to Q3, in Aston Martin car, which Richard, as Aston Martin stockholder, that car is not good when it comes to qualifying whatsoever. They've been race pace this year, and they gambled, with the intermediates. Worked out very well for them. So good strategy. He was lapping fastest on fast and intermediate, and as well he had to recover as well from this. And he had with Alonso. That could have easily gone wrong because he just crashed out, especially at that start lap where you couldn't see, and he held back Alonso as well. So yes, Ocon overtook him, but other than that, he did what he had to do, and his final look, drive Suzuka, a season that people question him, he did his thing in it. So I'm gonna give it to Seb for driver day.
Yeah, that's calm. Right. Yeah, I'm the same as well. I'll give it to Seb also. Yeah, brilliant job. Latifi Award. Kwame, Latifi Award. I know there's not a lot of obvious candidates, but yeah.
Like I said in the GC, it has to be the FIA. If I can't give it to them,
No, Kwame, no. Gonna give it to a driver, bro. Not doing this. No. We're not doing this. Come on.
Then it has to be Charles Leclerc.
Yes.
Correct.
For sure. Yeah. Put me down as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
he's
the only driver who had the bad race. He's the only driver. Like I know I said science as well, but science is a big stretch because of the conditions, man. Like that was treacherous. So yeah, he's the only driver who had stinker. Everyone knows. I can't go into to today. I can't lie.
Are they all stink?
By default.
Yeah. See, yours is the same, and mine's the same. So yeah, let's just crack on with it. Let's just crash this in here. Right, okay. First off, we have Oran Stingers. Discuss battling Mick Max for the win more than Charles, and best overtake of the race. Oh, he's trying to take the piss when Mick Max are battling for the lead in about 4 seconds. Yeah. Open floor. I don't know.
Sorry, what was
best
the question
overtake of the
again?
race. He says discuss battling Mick and Max for the win more than Charles, and he also said best overtake of the race.
I'll answer best overtake of the race. It will be Alonso, wouldn't it? Alonso and Vettel, right at the end, right?
Well, he didn't overtake him, though.
That was overtaken. That was well defending. Yeah, Alonso.
Oh shit! I was on the assumption that he actually got him.
No, Vettel kept P6. Yeah. But he did overtake him very briefly, but then Vettel got him back. So it was like to the line, innit? So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why. Man.
Maybe George Russell, one of his ones? I don't know.
No, George had quite a few outside. On Mick as well, he had quite a few. There was an overtake today in 130R on the outside. I can't remember the driver.
You know who I want to shout out? I want to shout out Stroll for his start.
Yeah, that was a really good start.
Yes, you know what?
Yeah, I want to. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he had like a couple overtakes in there. So pick any one of them.
Yeah.
That's what
He
I'm
did.
saying.
He did.
Yeah, no. That's a good
Yeah.
shout, actually. Yeah,
Mm.
no.
But
He
yeah,
cooked it. He cooked up a start, to be fair. But yeah, sorry, go on.
now I'm about to say there's like not much member overtakes. Because usually Suzuka, there's usually a lot of member overtakes from Suzuka in general. But nothing off the top of my head I can think of. George had a few in the from the pit stop places. But other than that, I can't think off the top of my head. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like everything happened before and after the race kind of clouded it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, just go for strolling in one of his ones. Yeah, just get it how you live in it. Okay, next question is off Duxon Quack 9. Top 10 Bozo moments this season, excluding the TV.
Boy,
Okay,
I mean, half the list could be Leclerc anyway. So if
hey,
it ain't Latifi, it's
listen.
Leclerc, get it?
Hey,
Boy.
listen. There's
I
a
mean,
couple Singapore ones in there as well.
Singapore one.
man.
Yeah. Bear man had Bozo moments. Bear man.
Actually, half the crew was crashing out. You know, just
Bro.
flip it.
That's it right
80
there.
Top
had
10's gonna be
few
crazy though,
control.
because I can barely remember.
There's a lot of strategies as well. I love how the strategies as well from teams.
Yeah, boy.
Ferrari, Haas, AlphaTauri.
If we included the strategies, we could go to like a top 20, top 25, bro. It's been the strategies that have been worse than anything on the track, honestly. I mean, if we were really gonna get down to it.
Yeah, no, that's true actually. Yeah, that's true. So actually Ferrari, Ferrari and Haas, really truly.
Haas, AlphaTauri, hey, I'm not letting AlphaTauri escape this because
them doing duct tape on my boy's ring.
Duct tape man.
They were telling him to retire and then drive and come back. I'm tired of seeing them.
Next question of Psycho Relic. How would you guys solve F1's wet weather problem relating to racing specifically? Well,
hashtag bring back Bridgestone and Michelin.
Yeah.
Bring them both back. If we can't have two tire manufacturers making wet tires and they both don't make a good one, at least one good one, boy, there's no hope.
The saddest thing is though is that will probably will never happen because it happened in Indy 2005.
Yeah. It's just.
I guess the point is that they really need to have a sit down with Pirelli and get this shit sorted out. Because I think a whole load of a big point of discussion about the whole tires, like regardless of whether it's wet or not, you know, whether it's wet tires or not, is the level of degradation that the FIA want within their tires, so to, you know, like promote like pit stop strategies and stuff like that. But I think if we have, I think that needs to be included in the conversation about getting these wet weather tires sorted out, because if we're at the point where it's like we have wet weather and we can't run the wet weather tires, like that's a big problem in like a fundamental sense. You get me?
You know, so, I feel like one thing we could do, I feel like I said, it's the teams preferring intermediate because A, faster, and B, there's more choice for strategy on intermediate. If you can do in a way where like you make it mandatory where they have to race like a full set for like a certain amount, but even then they're just going to do the switching for the intermediate. But if they have to run a full set for like a certain amount of lap or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with Tyler. They have to be sit down with, because it's mad, because this is actually the first year where they brought new tires in as well. You have to remember that they've gone for the smaller tires. There's the big tires, the bigger tires, my bad. That are meant to be the size of the road cars, but we've got this issue.
I mean, wet weather tires have been a problem for a couple of years now.
True.
So,
I don't know if you just brought in ones which, as it says, similar to like the Bridgestone and Michelin ones from back in the day, like the real grooved. Well, we don't have grooved tires anymore, still. But I don't know. Just if you had something in between, like an instant or wet, like a super wet, super wet, you know, man.
Hey,
Damn, man.
hey, it's late, but it's not that late, bro. It's late, but it's not that late, bro.
Hey, blame Kwame still. Hey, listen.
Man, say nothing, man.
Man talk about super wet, hyper wet, ultra wet. Oh my days. It's
Hey,
going crazy.
listen. Certain cast members, listen, it's not still. I can't lie to you.
What?
But
So
yeah,
okay, but that's a good point of discussion actually. What should there be like another tier of wet tire?
something that's in between inter
Like
and wet. So something where it's like it's got the performance kind of like it inter, but that like has the capabilities of chopping through deeper water per se. Not as good as a wet, but kind of like a wet. If that makes sense. So rather than
No, I
for
hear that.
But to be
rather
honest,
than,
all that will do is just make the original wets even more useless. Because
yeah,
I think
maybe
teams are just gonna chase the inters anyway and use those. And if it gets particularly wet, then they'll just go for the in between wets, like you said.
Mm.
And then it's probably just gonna be those two. You know what I mean? And the wets are gonna be complete pointless.
I mean, yeah, you say it might get rid of the wet, but look, we used to have what 7 different tire compounds not too long ago. We had
Exactly.
super softs, hyper softs, ultra softs, and all that shit. To be fair, and then
Yeah.
today they
I guess
got
the issue now is with
pushed away.
Costa, because the issue with Costa because like I said, they've still got them 7 tires there, but they only bring 3 tires to the race, in it, and then you have your intermediate and your wets, in it. So I feel it might be over cost, but I feel like again they're looking more into tire degradation, and the probably told me on the tire degradation than rather than safety of the tire. Which I feel like the next manufacturer, who that'll be, they should look more into like the safety of the or speed rather than the degradation of the tires to make racing more exciting. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think if you're chasing speed as well, then it's natural that the degradation of the tire is also going to be affected. So you can essentially kill 2 birds with 1 stone at that point. You see what I mean? So yeah, I think they just need to. I think just work on making the tires faster and more grippier, I guess, and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah, you could say that, but then look at Alonso when he pitted for fresh inters. He was cooking. Like when he came out the pits, he was like 15 seconds behind Russell, and then he was then I think 5 seconds behind Vettel. And within 8 minutes, I don't know how many laps it was, but I know it was like 8 minutes long. He was doing seconds a lot quicker than everyone else on their used inters, if you will, basically. And he almost beat Vettel to the line. That's how much he was cooking on the fresh inters. So you say like it does open up more chassis options and whatnot, but at the same time, we kind of do need like a third wet tire in a way, because it doesn't make no sense to have 2 wet tires and 3 dry tires. Do you know what I mean? Like, imagine if you only had softs and hards. Like, it would just be a bit bad, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
But these have that back in the day though. It used to be slips and grooves, and then they add in the medium later.
Yeah, true. But yeah.
But I do hear they should have more options for wet. I just guess it's a cost option because we don't really have much wet races. They're trying to cut costs, whatever. But
yeah, not true. Okay, next question. Do you think of the CFC A19B? Okay, he's asked me a question to college, so I'll just run through a couple of them. Maybe we can ask a couple as a group. So, can we have a pod to discuss all the bad decisions, major ones the FIA has made this year? Yeah, we might do something like that. December time. Yeah. Is Gunter Steiner a good team principal? It has been going on for months, but the way he throws Mick under the bus, I doubt any other team principal would do such their travel. Yeah, he's pretty shit. I can't lie to you.
I don't think he's a good team principal. I think he's just a good personality in it.
Yeah, it's just their DCS hype in it. Yeah, but I'm not spending much time on that goon. I can't lie to you. How did Okay, we can answer this one. Do you think F1 will leave the FIA?
Boy, that's interesting actually, because I did see a tweet. It was in Italian, but I did see a tweet saying that, insinuating that there's a bit of friction between Liberty Media and the FIA. Liberty Media being the people who own F1. So, boy, I don't know. It's a bit. My question with that is, what angle are people coming from? Are the teams coming from? Like, what angle does Liberty Media have in regards to the FIA, and what angle does the FIA have in regards to?
Liberty Media, they're people, like I said, they run the sports, they do the contracts with the races, they do the marketing, the media side of the thing. That's Liberty Media, formerly FOM. FIA, like I said, the people who organize the race, the stewarding, that sort of thing. And they've been discussion in the past between the FIA and the FOM trying to split in the past because of the disagreements. Again, I don't see it happening, because if Liberty Media does want to split over the FIA, who's going to sanction the sport? They'll probably have to get in, because the whole point is kind of meant to be like FIA, they do the legislation of the racing, that sort of thing, whilst Liberty Media does the marketing. If they get with the FIA, then who else could it get in? That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, for example, the Premier League trying to fall apart from UEFA or FIFA or FA or whatever in it. Like, unless if you're going to get your own people in, then you're going to have the argument of they're not neutral, whatever. Yeah. I mean, they can do it. Like, I mean, split series have been proposed in the past. I mean, Ferrari was the closest in like 2009 with the Concord agreement, but I don't see it happening personally. But the FIA have had a lot of howlers, and like I said, there have been disagreements. I even saw another disagreement today about Japan. So Liberty Media were arguing with the Japanese contracts again of Japan wants to do it in October, November time, but Liberty Media wanted it in like February, March because monsoon season. So these things are going to happen. These disagreements are going to happen, but unless there's money, I don't see it like splitting.
But maybe I think the fact is, it is. I'm not sure if it's there. I think it's affected the money, although not necessarily directly, but more in regards to the actions of the FIA have affected like the reputation and the integrity of the sport, which then in turn can affect the money that they're bringing in and the ratings. Because I mean, it's no secret that the FIA have not been doing a good job. So me thinking about it now, I can see the fact that Liberty Media like, like the product that we're trying to sell here is essentially being tainted by the fact that you lot keep making terrible decisions. And it's making it more and more difficult for us to like sell a good product, essentially, regardless of the fact that all the drama and whatever is bringing us views. In the end, if the sport is coming into disrepute, then it's going to be more of a problem than a positive thing. So I can, thinking about it, I can see that's the angle that they're coming from. But in regards to a split, it would have to be something crazy, I think. Like something really crazy for there to be a split. So I don't see it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's in way possible. I can't lie. I think Liberty Media needs to exercise somehow getting away from the FIA, because there was all this reform at the end of last year and whatnot in the off season, and we're seeing maybe even worse mistakes than what we did last year, arguably, or just more confusion.
I mean,
it's inconceivable way.
It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah. I think if we were gonna have this discussion, it should have been last year after Abu Dhabi. That's when we could have had a discussion and been like, wow, yeah, okay, like this, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I understand where they're coming from. But we've gone like a year past that, and Liberty Media haven't said anything about that. And then now we're getting to this point, and then suddenly we're hearing about it. And it's at it's at a lower level of that egregiousness, if that's the word. But yeah, it's just, it's a bit of a weird situation to think about.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to watch the space and see if Liberty Media have the balls, I feel, to make a big move like that because you've definitely made changes and they definitely capable of making changes and whatnot. But let's see if they can, I don't know, maybe self-govern themselves if that's possible, or maybe just have like a different independent organization governing them instead. To be fair, but then again, I don't know how that's going to play into like super license points and all stuff like that. That's that's a whole load of that's an old other level and stuff like that. But yeah, cool. Move on to this last two questions. How did F1 media and teams, to be honest, with the whole point system? Because we're not weirdos who read the whole rule book inside and out. So listen, because of the 25, 50, 75% point situation, because everyone was so fixated on that, people just interpret it as the race distance covered no matter what. Not in terms of if there's a checker flag, then it's 4 points sort of situation. That's my assumption anyway. So yeah, that's how I interpret it, to be honest with you. And last question: does the FIA need to look at their rule book and redo it? Everything I mean, because it's so confusing to everyone, even the FIA. Yeah.
It will take a very long time to go through that whole book and rewrite it. But yeah, no, we agree with the sentiment that it's a bit of a mess, and there's a couple of like rulings and regulations in there that are just like they're either just unintuitive or they're just plain wrong, basically, and they should change it. Yeah, but knowing the FIA, it will take another incident for them to even be aware of the fact that there's a problem, and then they'll take forever to fix it, and then it will be a terrible fix, and then we'll have this problem again like 3 or 4 years time. So yeah,
it's simple as that, to be honest with you. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next question of Oliver Dirty B. How does F1 and more importantly Liberty Media fix the FIA issue? I mean, it's kind of spoke on that already, isn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, really, to be honest with you. But I suppose at the time being, if there's if Liberty Media don't want to break away from them, just somehow chat to them. But it's like they're the governing body, so like, what can you really say to them for them to like take it on board? To be honest with you, it would have to take like have a vote in a way, or like a breakaway. Yeah, that's
something. There's a lot of hassle for them to like. I deep now. There's a lot of things that are implemented, like the rule books, like super license. But there's so much hassle to split. But I feel they need to have a conversation. Yeah. Liberty Media need to have a conversation with FIA and just tell them to fix up. Yeah, because Liberty Media, we go to them, but they're doing their part of the marketing. They are marketing F1 very well at the moment. F1's getting new lease of life, new fans in. They may be a bit corny with certain things, but they're doing their thing. But the FIA rules, regulations, these past couple of years have been very too crazy for sure.
Yeah. It's like plain old refereeing, like they can't do. So they definitely need like a nip in the bud or something, sit down and have a chat and just, it's long.
Yeah, it's long, isn't it? But we'll have to discuss this further on future probably on the show because there's lots to get into in terms of that situation. But next question off Meds to Hottie. Has been holding Mick back the whole time? I mean, you've kind of already said that as well.
You talk about that, Mick. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mick's kind of let himself down in a way anyway. But yeah, there's definitely a bit of agenda from Haas to try and like, I don't know, get rid of him and just fuck him over at any opportunity. Like before Chris was broken up first, I can't lie to you, but I kind of see it now. I can't lie. I kind of see it.
No, I see it as well, man. They definitely are holding. I don't know what's happened. It's definitely some internal politics of I don't know. I feel like Mick just maybe just not get along with Gunter. Gunter being quite disciplinarian in the past. With how he treated K-Mag, Charles DTS, and Grosjean, etc. So maybe Mick as a young driver, he's not really coming accustomed to that. And Gunter's like, if you think that way, cool. I'll try and do it the other way. And, now it's getting kind of frozen out of the squad. Like, you know, it's Jose someone. Like, it's Jose in Delhi. Like, literally like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll say true. Next question off Ming's first beer. What will you be watching the rest of the season for?
Boy.
PG-10. That's
Babs.
it. What I was
Fast
Hey,
cars,
doing.
isn't it?
gas gang, you get me? Hey, let me show you the wave. Gas gang. Simple.
Hey, that should be the catchphrase. That should be the catchphrase, no. Shout out 150 gas guy, man. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Let me show you the
Keep
wave.
going, man.
Gas lead don't pay no games.
Oi.
Hey, listen.
Let's go.
Listen, listen. Hey, calm down, brother. Calm down. We know you're like after dark, brother. Man.
Chill, man, chill.
Oh god, okay. Right, next question. Off was it Marcel F1? How do you feel about this season compared to the past? I mean,
We talk about it, no, as well. It's been a very messy season. Very, very mess.
yes. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. It's just because Lewis has been in the shit box. I've been very like whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Max wins. I'm like cool. Charles wins. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yo.
Sports and disputes. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Richard's gone back to the days. You know when Liverpool were proper dead, and he just stopped caring about football.
The Hodgson times, man. You might have
Like us,
Aquilini
innit?
experience.
Yeah, like us, innit? We were our proper banter era. Hey, listen, when we had
That's
every
Vonin, Lambert, Balotelli, Yusuf, those days, man.
Kwame, this is the F1 podcast. Oh shit! Right, okay. Right, next question of TJL_P. Rate this season out of 10.
I was actually going to ask that.
I think like a 5. It's like a 5 to us.
5? Fucking hell, that's low. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say
it's been a very average season.
It has been though. Yeah. I'd give it like a 6.
I'd say maybe 6.5, maybe a 7. Just because we have had good races.
He wants to bring out the 0.5s, bro. Man, bro.
Well,
give me the full numbers, man.
That's it. It's either 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Well, why gotta be at the 0.5?
I was set 6 maths, bro. I don't know about all these decimal points and that, man. Just do the 6 or the 7.
Fucking dead. Do not kill me.
I understand one. I can't make them.
Man said that's too much. Man said I was on the trap. I don't know about them numbers there, but then
that's only up to
yeah, it's
You ever seen The Wire? You ever seen The Wire where he's doing the math when he's doing the book problems? How you gonna keep the camera? You can't do the fucking book problems. They kind of wrong. They fuck you up.
Oh shit! Yeah, I don't know, 6. I think I'd only give it if there was dead races, but I'd probably give it lowest. But maybe a 7 because we have had closer racing in a way, and we have had good races. To be honest, Silverstone, Hungary. There's a few more, but I really can't remember because there's been better races. And there's been 18 races. Like
Silverstone was a crazy race, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's probably a few more than this. I'd say maybe a 7. It's not been spectacular. There's not really been much of a title race, but it's been above average. So yeah, I'd say that. Cool. And last question of Huss XYN. Discuss the speeding penalty for Charles. Should the rules be clear and concise? And will teams be held accountable for reaching the cost of that? So yeah, let's talk about Charles' penalty. It was a bit quick, really, to be fair.
It was very quick.
But I think we know why.
Yeah.
I think you know
why.
We definitely know
why.
why.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Yeah, we know why. Second one is, should the rules be clear and concise? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, that goes without
Common
question.
sense, isn't
Yeah.
it? What do you
Yeah,
say?
that goes without saying, isn't it? Yeah, of course. 100%. Last question: will the teams be held accountable for breaching the cost cap? I mean, by the time this is released, we may or may not know the answer.
It's about
But
tomorrow. Oh,
I'm just because, yeah,
yeah.
because when
When the
I'm
pod's
later.
out, should hopefully be out. Yeah, should.
Yeah, so let's just do assumptions in it. I'm gonna say no. Well, I'm gonna say yeah, but not how you think. So what I mean is that if Red Bull have breached it, there's not gonna be a mad like punishments. Like there's not gonna
Yeah.
be strict championships,
Yeah.
disqualifications, and
No.
big. It'll probably be like a
Nah.
little fan.
I
You know what I
like
mean?
fine. I like 10K. I like 10K for this man.
Yeah.
They'll be like,
That's what my
yeah. They'll be like, yeah. I mean, it happened, but you know what, bro? It's not that deep. Still, you get me, like basically. As if they're gonna come in.
yeah. You know that one's little AK. What my hand was spending tape or something. You
Not
know what I
that
mean?
deep,
You know
bro.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Yeah, it's like Bill.
I mean,
You know what I mean? Little AK.
yeah. I mean, look, the narrative, the narrative's been set. No. The narrative's been set. You get me? Like the story's been written. They're not changing that for no one. Like the cost cap regulation thing tomorrow is a formality, bro. And today proved it. To be honest, like the way they handed Max the championship, like today proved it. Like they know what they want and they're not gonna jeopardize it like that. So if you're expecting something tomorrow, boy, that's on you, innit? You're muted, boss.
Yeah, shit, right. Move mad. Yeah, but I said wishful thinking in it. But yeah, it's just one of them ones in it. But yeah, that's all for today's pod. All like, right. So now you want to say your camera on, yeah? This is how you're moving, yeah? This guy, man, just so fresh trim. You could have done this
You
2 hours ago, but nah. I thought, let me give a favor at the end.
Yeah.
This guy, man.
If you stay to the end, you're real Pitstopper. Yeah. Like and subscribing and things, then commenting. Yeah.
So is this your surprise, yeah? If you stay to the end, you get to see Kwame's trip. This guy, man.
I mean,
Yo.
now we've got to add that intro. Now we've got to add that to the intro, innit?
What
We got to add to the intro. Hey, listen to the. Watch to the end. You're gonna see Kwame's trip.
I did say in the intro that stay to the end when this guy said that.
Cool.
This guy, man. Yeah. All I can say is, if you managed to get to the end, thanks for listening. Please make sure to, of course, do the usual, like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube. Also, make sure to follow us on the socials, on Twitter and Instagram under Pitstop Fracas. And also, please make sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, to be fair. And also, make sure to look in the link in the description below if you want any F1 miss. Should be a discount code there as well if you want to, so Ferrari match, Mercedes match, Red Bull match, whatever you feel like. But yeah, that's all for today, and we'll catch you next time at Kota. Peace.
Actually, no.